Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Mirror Dungeon solo video. Today we'll be using the strongest intelligence gatherer, 7 Association Outis. She is primarily a rupture identity who also specializes in debuffing, though not really enough to make it her main thing. When it comes to rupture, she's one of the few identities who actually has a positive rupture count skill in her skill 2. However, her other skills are entirely 100% count negative, which can end up making her slightly awkward and clunky to use in a rupture team. This isn't really that much of a problem though, as rupture is capable of killing almost every boss within 2 to 3 turns, so you only really need 2 or 3 positive rupture count skills in the first place. She also has access to the Ego Ebony stem, and while she doesn't fuel it herself, it can aid her rupture count by providing a little extra whenever she rolls heads. Just keep in mind that it's next turn rupture account, so if you're not careful she can still end up killing the stack even with its passive active. Other than that, the only thing really left to mention is that her clash power doesn't really seem that good for a 3-star identity. She rolls a 10, 15, and 12 without her conditionals active, and while her skill 3 can end up rolling an 18, it being rupture count negative makes it not the most reliable conditional in the world. Despite this though, her clash power is much better than it seems at first glance, thanks to her ability to reduce her opponent's clash power by 2 with every single one of her skills. This certainly improves her max rolls by a significant margin, but becomes even better when looking at her minimum rolls. She can almost never clash lower than an 8, which makes her incredibly consistent at neutral or negative sanity. All around she's a decent rupture identity and a very consistent clasher. Starting the run off, we pick Fluorescent Lamp and Barbed Lasso for our starting gifts and head into the Outcast for the first floor. For this boss, we're up against the Ebony Queen's Apple, who really isn't that much of a threat. 7 Outis is a very tanky identity, and if she's not taking fatal damage, she's almost never in any danger. This is doubly so when it comes to the Apple, as she doesn't do any real damage in the first place, and so with a little bit of stacking Rupture, we can beat the fight with very little issue. We take the Ebony Brooch for our reward and head into the Unconfronted for the next floor. Here we buy Imposed Weight, Painkillers, Oracle, and an extra skill 2, while also finding Standard Duty Battery before making it to the boss against Cromer. Cromer, like always, is a pretty simple fight. Force Corrosion by the 3rd turn and knock her into her 2nd phase before she staggers you. Through the power of Rupture, this is pretty easy to accomplish, and we can get through her fight with very little trouble.
직접 나서지. 어디에 도전하는가? 조금만 더.
부상 없이 나오는 게 최고야.
조금만 더. 조금만 더. 직접 나서지. 빈틈 투성이로.
개체가 우리의 마지막 일격만을 기다리고 있면서 응원도
직접 나서지. 예측대로. 빈틈 투성이로. 기회를 잡았네. 직접 나서지. 빈틈 투성이로 예측대로 빈틈 투성이로
저희는 공격, 다음에 다른 개체에게 저희 직원들이 개체의 부위를 파괴했어요. 역시
We take Thunder Branch for our reward and receive Broken Revolver as a bonus before heading into Emotional Subservience for the next floor. We don't manage to find anything of worth here before making it to the boss against the Drenched Gosipium.
직접
Thanks to having both Feng Hunt Hong Lu and Princess Rhodia, this boss's main gimmick is a complete joke. Bleed is literally no consequence to us whatsoever, and as such, the only real threatening attack is the Gosipium's Lust skills, which very nearly end up staggering us. Okay, so that's not entirely true. The skill Flourishing Gosipium is also a major threat, but by simply using an ego, that's dealt with in a matter of seconds. Afterwards, Rupture is more than capable of staggering the Gosipium, and we can finish it off shortly after.
야, 수지 좀 봐.
직접 나서지 지겹 이 몸 직접 손봐야겠네
상담에서 알려준 대로 잘했어. 역시 상담 프로그램을 진행한 건
예측대로 빈틈 투성이로 직접 나서지 쓰러져
저희 직원들이 개체의 부위를 파괴했어요. 역시
We take Smoking Gunpowder for our reward and head into Crushers and Breakers for the next floor. Here we buy Bloody Gadget, Grey Coat, Phlebotomy Pack, and Illusory Hunt, while also finding Temporal Brittle and Fused Death Seeker before making it to the boss against the Blubbering Toad. I was kind of hoping to get the Bull as the boss instead of one of the easiest encounters in the game, but it is what it is. The only way to make this fight somewhat of a challenge is to attempt to beat it without corroding, otherwise the frog simply ends up defeating itself. 7 Outis having some of the best and most consistent clashing when at neutral sanity makes this quite simple to achieve. As long as the frog rolls tails at least once, she can usually end up winning every clash. Base Song's support passive also greatly helps, giving us constant sanity regeneration every turn. Eventually though, we build up a pretty sizable rupture stack that the frog simply cannot compete with.
오늘도 즐거운
직접 나서지 예측대로
이런 건 몽둥이가 약이지. 두드려 패.
빈틈 투성이로
개체의 상태가
직접 나서지 예측대로
오늘도 즐거운 하루.
직접 나서지 예측대로 예측대로 쓰러져
칼날이 작으네요. 아마 그 공격이 약점이었겠죠?
We take the Broken Compass as for our reward and head into Murder on the Warp Express for the final floor. Here we get the opportunity to buy Thrill, but obviously don't as that thing is broken, and instead simply buy an extra skill 3 before making it to the boss against Cassetti.
직접 나서지
The only real challenging part of this fight is the very beginning. The blood bags can pack quite a punch, with us being fatal to multiple of their skills, but thanks to there not being a whole lot of them, and their love for using defense skills, we can make it through without ever getting staggered. Cassetti himself is even easier, as he's only ever really a threat when you're using a bleed identity. Of course, after his guaranteed heal, he does become significantly stronger for a few turns afterwards, which could end up posing a bit of a threat.
빈틈 투성이로
I say that it's a guaranteed heal, but that's not really the case. Taking advantage of one of 7 Outis' minor strengths being how fast she is, we can easily outspeed Cassetti and let Rupture finish him off before he ever has a chance to heal.
빈틈 투성이로 예측대로 빈틈 투성이로 나서자. 빈틈 투성이로. 예측대로. 빈틈 투성이로. 쓰러져.
올바른 방법으로 주체에게 일격을 가해준다. 이것이
예측대로.
바로 정보의 힘이다.
승객이 빼꼼 한 방 먹었어. 내끼가 배고파했어.
직접 나서자. 예측대로. 빈틈 투성이로. 쓰러졌고.
방금 공격은 좋았어. 이대로만 계속해보면 좋을 텐데. 나이스! 하나 잡았다.
직접 나서자. 쓰러졌고.
내끼가 배고파했어.
직접 나서자. 예측대로.
오케이.
직접 나서자. 예측대로.
완벽한 한방. 시원한걸?
예측대로.
효과적이네요. 이 방식을 기억하는 게 좋겠어.
직접 나서자. 빈틈 투성이로. 예측대로.
칼날이 잘 드네요. 아마 그 공격이 약점이었겠죠?
예측대로. 생각보다 날뛰어버렸군. 책상에서만 썩기 아까운 솜씨인걸?
And that's how I soloed Mirror Dungeon 4 hard using only 7 Outis. She's a pretty solid identity. Decent for Rupture, not the greatest but not the worst either, and very consistent clashing makes her incredibly reliable. She has a ton of little minor strengths too, as her incredibly high speed stat, which while not necessarily amazing on their own, can end up giving her significantly more versatility as a result. Anyway, that's it from me. Like and subscribe to not miss next time where we'll be using this character. Goodbye.